welcome to a brand new episode here on Glengarry the Contractor. So as you can see, the combine is out, probably for the final time this year. I can't envisage that combining is going to go on into November, but the contracts that you can see at the top, near enough centre of your screen, they are the contracts that we have to complete today. Because if we do not complete them by the time the end of the month it has arrived, then we do get a penalty for that, and we get quite a hefty fine. So it's basically to stop me from just taking every single contract and then slowly working my way through it. I think the mod is called Better Contracts mod, if anyone's interested. What you do is you set the parameters within that mod, and then you go from there. And the way I have it set is that I get fined way more than I would have got for the contract. So obviously, what it does do is it stops me, as I say, just taking out loads and loads of contracts. And as I say, slowly working my way through them. But not only that as well, it also means that I don't just take on any contract for the sake of it, because otherwise, if I don't do it, I'm going to get fined way more than what I would have got for it. But every contract that we do take out, and my maths isn't brilliant, so I have a thing called dyscalculia, which is the numbers equivalent to dyslexia. So I don't really understand numbers, but from my basic maths that I do have, and it is very basic, then I think every contract that we do does work out as a profit. So it's not too bad, but yeah, it's just to basically keep me in check, basically, so I don't sort of abuse the system or sort of cheat my way to £1 million or whatever. But but yeah, so as I say, today we are out in the field. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get all of these contracts done. I also want to get this field baled as well, so I do want to come and bale here again. And I may well use the New Holland baler I might even buy it. I was going to try and save up the money to buy the Massey Ferguson tractor. And I still could, in a way, because I could trade in one of the other tractors. But I like those tractors. And to be fair, I don't think we're lacking too much in horsepower at the moment. And we've not exactly had a vast number of contract, basically because of what I just talked about. The reason we've not had a huge sort of amount of contracts is because I can't take that risk, because otherwise I get fined, and some of the fines that I would get are going to wipe out my money. So I have to go pretty steady, but as I say, we'll be able to get these contracts done, get this baled. And say I might even just buy the New Holland bale collector, just because of I'm not very good at stacking trailers with the bundled up small bales. So I might just get that New Holland one, plus it holds 160, is it, I think, bales, which is a really good amount. So I might just do that, certainly for the contracting anyway. If we get any baling on our own fields, I might do it the way that I was doing it, just so as it does sort of bring a different variety of job. And the other thing that I've noticed as well is normally when you're kind of on a game and you're sort of doing a bit of contractor, and what have you, like there's endless contracts for baling and silage making and hay making and stuff like that, but I've not had any. I've not literally had none, which is a shame, because that was the reason why I bought the small baler and the bundler, was for all the hay contracts that I thought we were going to do, because the plan was I was going to sell the you know, sort of within the game, it was going to be that the hay was for, you know, stables and horses and stuff like that. But no, it's not happened. So don't know why. Not that it really matters too much, but yeah. So as I say, today this is the last field to the combine. Then we'll come in here, we'll bale it. We've got a contract. We've got 2 liming contracts to do, so we'll let Courseplay do them. We'll let Courseplay do the liming contracts. I think we've also got 1 fertilising contract, so we can have another tractor out on that. And then I've got some cultivating. I can't remember if it's cultivating and ploughing or cultivating and sowing. And that's another thing. I was way hoping that we were going to get way more sowing contracts than what we actually got. And before the day's out, we need to get our field of barley drilled as well. So busy day, busy episode. Hopefully, going to time lapse all of that. Obviously, otherwise the episode's going to be about 4 hours long. So I'll time lapse all of that, and as you know, as I usually do, we'll meet at the end, and we'll call it a draw, and we'll review where we've got to and what we've done, and then we will end the episode there. I was going to say end the contract there, but we don't have a contract, me and you. And if we do, then I need paying. But yeah, so we'll that's what we'll do. So when we get going down the straight, what I'll do is I'll switch it over to some time lapse, and then we can enjoy some music, and we can watch the action unfold. So I'll see you at the end. Bye for now. And I'm back. So we will get ourselves off to the John Deere tractor that is lime spreading in field 35, very nearly finished. And then that will be the end of a very, very busy episode. And we have now got all of our contracts done. So that is very good. As I say, he's just about done that one now. So we'll go down there in readiness. And for those of you that think that I'm cheating by just filling the trailer or the spreader, then I refer you to a video a few weeks back where I explain the reasons why I do it on contracts. Is because the game expects me to buy their I'll say that again and I'll say it in English because it will probably help a lot of people. The game expects you or me as the farmer to buy the lime to spread on their fields, and excuse me, in real life that just wouldn't happen. That just wouldn't happen. So yeah, I do just fill them direct because I think, well, you should pay for that lime, really. You should provide the lime. I have often thought that the game should have a way of calculating how much lime is going to be needed to cover a field, and when you get to the field with said lime spreader, the bags should be waiting in the field, so you just keep filling them up, and then it runs out and it virtually runs all the bags out, and that's how it should be done. But as I say, the game expects you to buy the lime or the seeds or the spray or whatever, and then all it does is it pays you for the bit that's left. Well, that's alright, and that might be a few £100, maybe even £1,000. But if you've sprayed a big enough field or whatever, and you've used, say, 3 loads, and you're only getting paid for the very last bit and the very last load, well, it's cost you more money to work their field than they're going to pay you to do it. It doesn't make sense. So that's why I do it the way I do it. So it's, I get, I kind of get why people say, oh, it's a form of cheating, but at the same time, I wouldn't be able to contract these fields if I had to pay for all of their materials. It's a bit like a builder, sort of kind of turning up to a house and the people saying, we're going to pay you this much to build the house, but you're going to buy the bricks, the cement, the roof tiles, the wood, and everything else. It's kind of a bit like that, and the builder's going to tell you where to go, basically, and quite rightly too. Yeah, that's the reason why I do it that way. But as I say, it's been a very good episode. We've got just about everything done, and I'm very pleased because next month hopefully there'll be some more fertilising, some more maybe sowing, some sort of that sort of stuff, cultivating, ploughing, I'm hoping. If not, we could well be going out of business. If no contracts come in over winter, we could well be going out of business. So yeah, hopefully that does come in. But as I say, if it doesn't, then we are we are in a little bit of trouble. But at least with the straw, the bales from the field that we harvested at the start of the episode, at least with the straw from there. Sorry, I just need to find out where I am. As you've seen from the time lapse, I do get awfully lost. So it kind of happened to me last night. So last night I went out and decided to go to Great Yarmouth to go racing. And I love me racing, sort of go wherever I feel comfortable driving, basically. And decided to go to Great Yarmouth. Now, I knew the A47 was having a lot of works done on it at the moment because, they're redeveloping Norwich, they're redeveloping the dual carriageway, they're just redeveloping all the way from sort of Great Yarmouth to King's Lynn. and I say it's about 2 hours for me to get to Great Yarmouth from where I live. And goes off, has a great night. I'll tell you how good the night was. I even pulled. I wasn't trying to pull. I was trying to watch the racing. But yeah, so this I'm kind of sort of stood up against the fence watching the racing, and this woman come and stood next to me, and anyway I watched the race that just happened, and she said, "Excuse me," and I said, "Yeah." She goes, "What time does this finish?" And so I jokingly said, because it's just me, "Why, are you bored?" And she laughed and she said, "No, I was just wondering. I've never been to car racing before," and she said, "I just wondered like how long it went on for." So I said, "Oh, it should be done about 9:30, 10 o'clock." So she's like, "Oh, okay, that's not too bad." Anyway, we just kind of got talking, and that was all grand. And because I'm not very good with the fairer sex, of course, I didn't get a number, and I managed to get a name. So I didn't do too bad. 1 out of 2 is not bad. But yeah, so but I kind of like this morning woke up and thought, why the hell didn't I get a number? But anyway, well, that's nothing to do with what I was going to tell you, but I just thought I'd tell you that because Jesus, not too much good stuff happens to me very often. So the fact that some very attractive woman um, had started a conversation with me and then bought me a drink while we were there, and then also wanted me to go back to the hotel that she was staying in down there, and said, like, we can have a walk along the beach, or we can do whatever, but I sort of had to decline because I wanted to get home. And I say, from sort of getting out of racing in the end at 11:15, it would have meant that it was going to be getting on for 1:45, 1 o'clock before I got home. And anyway, I'm going down the A47. I get to the Ipswich Dis turn off at the A140. There's a slip road there, and then it goes down to a big roundabout. And which, incidentally enough, is where my ex used to live. He used to have to go down to that roundabout and then go into Norwich that way. And she lived just probably about 2 miles from that roundabout. The A47 was shut. It took me off at her roundabout, or the roundabout, and I couldn't get back on it. Couldn't get back onto the A47, so I was kind of like, I don't know where the hell I'm going. I was actually going to look at the sheep. I don't know why I'm going down here. Yeah, it kind of got off, and then suddenly it was kind of like it was shut, and it was. So I rejoined the A47 going the other way. I bet these haven't got any food, have they? They haven't, so we'll have to get them some food. So I sort of rejoined the A47 going back towards Great Yarmouth, thinking, okay, how the hell am I supposed to get home? And in the end, I forged a plan of we head back to Great Yarmouth, but while we're heading back to Great Yarmouth, if we see a signpost that roughly points to a place that we know is roughly in the right direction of direction of travel that we need to be, I'll head that way. So I put my car sat nav on. Now my car sat nav is brilliant, obviously, because it's a sat nav, and it helps you. And I told it to avoid the A47 because the A47 was shut. And literally, my sort of sat nav came up and went, well, I don't know then, because the A47 is the only way I know, which was a bit of a bugger. But anyway, got off the A47 near the new NDR sort of bit that's been built in Norwich, and the sat nav kind of is a bit old, and it's sort of said, well, you are now driving through fields. I know we're lost, but Jesus, we're not that lost. You could stick to the roads, but as I say, there was nothing on the sat nav, and I'm driving on a road, obviously, and then I saw a sign for Cromer, and I thought, oh, head to Cromer. I know my way home from Cromer, and I don't need to use the A47 either. So I headed to Cromer, and then at the bit of turning off to Cromer, I saw a sign for Fakenham. I thought, even better, head to Fakenham. So I headed to Fakenham, and I thought, when I get to Fakenham, I've only got to follow the signs to King's Lynn. I'm virtually home. And it was a really, 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 it was a nice evening. It was a warm, pleasant evening. I was just out in the middle of nowhere, driving along quite happily, music playing, and I was thinking, do you know what? I'm pleased I got diverted. Yes, I was a little bit panicky because I'm kind of like, I'm terrible with directions. I sort of don't know where to go, and suddenly it's kind of like it turned into a really pleasant drive. Yeah, it was a good night. But anyway, you don't need to hear all that rubbish. Um, I'm going to leave the episode here. When we come, oh no, I'm not. We've got one more thing to do, and that's that. And that's to cash all them in, and then we've got a nice little bit of money in the bank. Very good. And yeah, so I'm going to leave the episode here. So thanks ever so much for watching. I've really enjoyed having your company, and I hope you join me again next time when we'll get up to some more interesting stuff here on Glengarry Farm, the Contractor. Bye for now.